There is a common belief about older men, one that seems to persist despite all evidence to the contrary. The belief is that as men age, they become set in their ways, that they grow rigid, stubborn, and resistant to change. Many people assume a senior man's life is defined by a slow retreat from the world, a quiet surrender to the comforts of routine, because the energy for anything else has simply run out. But this is a misunderstanding. Perhaps it always has been. When you observe a wise senior man who has built real financial discipline and emotional peace, you are not witnessing a man who has given up. You are witnessing a man who has taken full control. His life is not defined by age. It is defined by decades of experience, hard-won lessons, and a clear-eyed perspective that only time can provide. So what does a day in the life of such a man actually look like? What is the daily routine of a senior man who has mastered his money, his time, and his peace of mind? This is not a story about waking up at 4 a.m. to take cold showers and read the newspaper before the world wakes up. It is not about hustle, productivity hacks, or endless optimization. The daily rhythm of a financially disciplined senior man is something far more profound. It is an expression of a philosophy that has been centuries in the making. It begins with a quiet, unwavering focus on what truly matters, and the quiet wisdom to let everything else go. The day does not begin in a frenzy. It does not begin with the checking of phones, the scanning of news headlines, or the anxious review of stock tickers. The day begins with intention. The Stoics, particularly the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, began each day with a form of mental preparation. He wrote to himself in his private journals, reminding himself of the kind of man he wanted to be and the challenges he would face. He would reflect on the nature of his work, the difficult people he might encounter, and the importance of remaining anchored in reason and virtue. He was, in effect, preparing his mind for the day before the day could impose itself upon him. A senior man who has achieved financial discipline does much the same. He understands that the greatest asset he owns is not the balance in his retirement account, but the clarity of his mind. He knows that money is simply a tool. The real wealth is freedom. Freedom from anxiety, freedom from the desperate need for more, and freedom to spend his time as he chooses. His morning is quiet. It may involve a quiet cup of coffee, a brief period of reading, or a few moments of simple reflection. He does not run from silence. He finds it restorative. This is not a performance of discipline. It is a practice of sovereignty, a quiet assertion that he will not be ruled by the day's demands or by the noise of the outside world. He will set the tone, or day. In a world obsessed with productivity, the wise senior man begins his day by seeking peace. And in that peace, he finds the mental energy to make sound decisions, free from the impulsive, fearful reactions that plague younger men who have yet to learn this lesson. As the day unfolds, there is no grand, dramatic moment of checking the accounts. There is, however, a quiet, consistent practice of awareness. This is not the frantic checking of a stock portfolio that rises and falls with the news cycle. That is a form of gambling, not discipline. His interaction with his finances is measured, calm, and purposeful. Behavioral economists speak of a concept called loss aversion. The idea that the pain of losing $1 is far more powerful than the pleasure of gaining one. This is the psychological trap that causes men to watch their portfolios obsessively, to sell at the first sign of a downturn, and to buy at the peak of a rally. It is a fear-based reaction that destroys wealth. The senior man who has lived through a few market cycles has learned to control this impulse. He checks his accounts with the calm detachment of a doctor reviewing a patient's chart. He is not looking for excitement. He is looking for alignment. He wants to ensure that his finances are still in line with his long-term plan and his deeply held values. He recognizes that the future is fundamentally unknowable. He has stopped trying to predict the weather and instead focuses on building a house that can withstand any storm. His daily financial habit is not an action, but a state of mind, a refusal to be ruled by fear. He understands that the market's volatility is an external event, beyond his control. His reaction to it, however, is entirely within his control. The real focus of his attention is on the leaks. He reviews his expenses, not with a sense of deprivation, but with a sense of purpose. He subscribes to the Stoic principle of simplicity, understanding that uncontrolled desires are the root of financial stress. He asks himself a simple question about each expenditure. Does this add real value to my life? He is acutely aware of what researchers call the hedonic treadmill, the idea that humans quickly adapt to new pleasures and are driven to seek the next upgrade, the next better thing. This is a recipe for a life of eternal dissatisfaction. He has gotten off the treadmill. He finds deep satisfaction in what he already has. His daily routine is to actively cultivate that gratitude, reminding himself that his needs are met and his life is full. This simple, quiet act is one of his most powerful financial habits. The activities of a senior man who has found his peace are often unremarkable to the outside world. He does not need to impress strangers. He has earned the right to simply live. While others may spend their days chasing social media validation, expensive hobbies, or the envy of their peers, he spends his time on pursuits that bring him genuine fulfillment. He might tend to a garden, read a book, or go for a long walk. He might spend time with a grandchild, teaching them a skill, or simply listening to them. He invests in relationships, not transactions. He spends his time, not money, on cultivating a life of meaning. This is the quiet confidence of a man who has built his identity on something more solid than his net worth. He is no longer in the arena of status, and it is a profound liberation. He has internalized a lesson that psychological researchers call self-determination theory. True well-being comes from autonomy, competence, and relatedness, not from external wealth or praise. His day is a testament to this truth. This is where he truly models the most important legacy. The younger generation, his own adult children, the grandchildren, and even neighbors, see a man at peace. They see a man who cannot be swayed by the latest trend. They see someone who is enough. This silent example is far more powerful than any lecture about saving money. It is a living testament to the fact that the wisest and wealthiest lives are often the simplest. He is not showing off his wealth. He is showing off his freedom, and that is a lesson no classroom can teach. As the evening settles in, the day winds down with the same intention with which it began. He does not spend his evenings in anxious anticipation of the next day's market opening or in regret over past decisions. The practice here is one of acceptance. He reviews his day not with judgment, but with understanding. He has made his decisions based on the information available to him at the time. He has acted in accordance with his values. What more can be asked? This acceptance is the key to his peace. He has wrestled with the anxiety of the future, and he has won. He has accepted that he will not live forever, and this has freed him. His daily routine is an ongoing conversation with his own mortality. It does not frighten him. It clarifies his priorities. Every day he spends his time and his money in a way that feels meaningful is a day he has won. The modern fear of running out of money in retirement is a powerful one. It creates a hoarding mentality in some, a miserliness that leads to a life of scarcity despite abundance. The disciplined senior man does not fall into this trap. He understands that money is not an end in itself. It is energy to be channeled. His evening is a time to reflect on his purpose. Was he present today? Was he generous? Did he live in accordance with his principles? He knows that a life lived in fear is a life already lost. His daily routine is a celebration of what he has, not a lament for what he lacks. He is grateful, and in that gratitude, he is richer than any man who owns a fortune, but is still hungry for more. The legacy of a life well lived. This, then, is the quiet heroism of the financially disciplined senior man. His routine is not a plan to get rich. It is a plan to be free. He wakes with intention. He spends his time and money with purpose. He lives below the radar and above the fray. He ends his day with peace. This is the ultimate return on a lifetime of discipline. The world may look at him and see a man slowing down, but those who are wise enough to look closer see a man who has finally reached his destination, a place of quiet wealth, profound peace, and unshakable freedom. He has become a living example of the Stoic ideal. He owns his life, rather than being owned by it. His legacy is not just the money he leaves behind, but the example he set. He shows other men that the path to true wealth is not paved with gold, but with self-discipline, wisdom, and the courage to live a life of purpose. Seek wisdom, protect your peace, leave a legacy.